I am pretty sold on the Cleveland Cavaliers as one of the best teams in the East, if not probably the overall best team in the Eastern Conference again this year. Solid win tonight against the Bucks pushes them to 10-5. They've won 7 of their last 9 after starting 3-3. And yes, Giannis did leave the game early in tonight's game, which I think certainly helped. But overall, I've been pleased with what I've seen out of the Cavs so far. Another great Donovan Mitchell game. He is playing probably the best basketball of his career so far this season. The Cavs have done a good job of overcoming injuries. Darius Garland's only played in 3 games this season. Max Strus is out for a while still. But they have, I think, also started to find some new role players and some new guys who can really come in and fill capable, important roles on this team. They're getting more out of a Craig Porter Jr., more out of a Jalen Tyson, more out of a Sam Merrill. Guys like that stepping up and stepping forward even more this year, I think, in a positive way, and creating a deeper, better Cavs roster than we've had the last couple of years. I think Lonzo, despite his own struggles with some of the efficiency stuff in some areas, has been really, really useful for this team so far. The playmaking ability that he has and his unselfishness, competitiveness defensively. I mean, even a game like tonight, he's 2 for 8, 1 for 6 from 3, but he's a plus 11 in 23 minutes. Consistent winning basketball plays that may not always show up in the stat sheet, but certainly help you win. I think that's what Lonzo's valuable for as well. I really like the look of this team so far, in all honesty. I think they brought in some nice pieces in the offseason. Even Thomas Bryant gives them a capable backup center with some real experience, played minutes on a competitive finals team last year. Like, I like a lot of the moves around the fringes that this team made this offseason, and I like a lot of what I'm seeing about their superstars this year. Evan Mobley continuing to make strides. May never be a superstar offensively, but showing a lot of progress, a lot of chops, and the floor spacing is becoming a very real thing with him. DeAndre Hunter really has not shot the ball very well this year, but he has been a huge addition for this team. Was a really, really nice get last year at the trade deadline, and I think a crucial piece for this team as well. And while they are not without their flaws, perimeter defense at times can be a question mark when your best wing defenders are DeAndre Hunter, DeAndre Hunter, Lonzo Ball, guys like that. That can be a little bit concerning, but honestly, I like a lot of what I've seen about this team. And again, outside of that 3-3 start, they're 7-2 in their last 10. They're the number 2 seed in the East. Realistically, looking at much of the East around them, the Hawks are playing really well. The Raptors are playing well. There's some teams that are obviously playing great basketball. And Pistons have won 10 in a row. They're playing the best basketball they've played in 2 decades. But the Cavs are absolutely well positioned, I think, to be the best team in this conference when all is said and done, and set themselves up really, really well for the playoffs this year. Again, doing it without arguably their second most important offensive player in Darius Garland. Donovan Mitchell truly having the best season, I think, of his career so far, at least to start, shooting 62% from 2-point range and 38% from 3, almost a 60% effective field goal percentage. He is playing great so far. Evan Mobley, again, the numbers are absolutely eye-popping. 19-9, 4 assists, 2.5 turnovers, but the playmaking chops is a bigger there. The confidence shooting the 3 ball, shooting 36% on 5 attempts a game. That continued progress as a shooter, and the fact that he's a consistent threat and he's willing to shoot a lot of them at this point, I think is valuable and important, considering the amount of time that he's going to spend playing with Jared Allen, who's not that same style of player. DeAndre Hunter, I think, again, even though he's only shooting 28% from 3 so far this year, is a huge piece of this team, averaging 18 a game and doing it in a lot of different ways. And his assist turnover ratio as well is 2-1 so far this year. I think he's been great. I think his off the dribble stuff is really valuable. I think he's one of the more underrated role player wings in basketball, considering what he provides offensively as not just a straight up 3-and-D type of player, but as a put the ball on the floor, tertiary ball handler who's a really versatile, valuable player. And if he can get back to shooting anything close to what he did last year, which is 40% on 6 attempts a game, if he's a high 30% three-point shooter, which later this year he likely will be, you could have a 20-point per game season cooking for DeAndre Hunter. Now, Darius Garland coming back will hurt some of that volume, but still, there's some really positive stuff going on with DeAndre Hunter that I think gives you encouragement to believe that if the shooting positively regresses like it probably should, he can consistently be this type of key option offensively throughout the year. Jared Allen, we know what he provides. Quality rebounder, decent, solid rim protector, extremely competitive, and a great finisher. Just a solid, valuable piece in his own right, efficient around the rim. Has shot a few threes this year, although he hasn't made any of them yet. It'll be interesting to see if that's something that he continues to try to add to his game over the next few years. Jalen Tyson has taken a huge step so far this year, man, averaging 11, 4, and 2. Again, almost a 2-to-1 assist to turnover ratio, shooting 46% from 3 so far and 62% in total effective field goal percentage. Like it has been really, really good to see him take this type of stride in his second season after only playing 10 minutes a game as a rookie, not shooting the ball extremely efficiently. This level of progress that he has made while also being a competitive, valuable guard defender and taking a little bit of the stress and the pressure off of guys like DeAndre Hunter and Lonzo Ball, who again, asked to do a lot, I think, defensively for this team, has been really, really valuable. I mean, they drafted him in the first round for a reason, and he has really showed up and turned into a really key contributor for this Cavs team so far this season. So I'm fascinated to see if that continues as well. I like a lot of what I'm seeing with this team, man. I really do. Sam Merrill shooting the absolute crap out of the ball, as we all know he generally does, shooting over 42% from three on 8 attempts a game. And while it's very small sample size, shooting well from 2-point range as well, leading to an extremely efficient season for Sam. May never be the greatest defender, but I do think he actually goes out there and competes pretty good, and his assist to turnover ratio is also really good. I like a lot of what I'm seeing about this team, man. They are a team that does not turn the ball over a ton. They do a lot of good things offensively. They're really versatile, and when you have Evan Mobley and Jared Allen in your defensive front court, plus the emergence of a Jalen Tyson and adding a little bit more perimeter defense with some guys like DeAndre Hunter and Lonzo Ball, you have a recipe for success on both ends of the court that I think puts this team in a really, really good spot. I mean, we look at their numbers so far this year. Again, keep in mind a little bit of a slow start, but an 11th in the league offensive rating that will likely continue to positively progress. And then a 9th in the league defensive rating. Again, it hasn't been jump off the page ridiculous so far, tied for an 8th in net rating in basketball, but I love a lot of what this team has been able to do so far. I really think they do a lot of things really, really well. They don't turn the ball over a ton. Top 10 in assist percentage and assist to turnover ratio. Their rebounding is obviously pretty solid as well. They're just a really interesting all-around team. Be interested to see what their turnover percentage is and how that ranks around among the league leaders. Again, top 10 in turnover percentage as well. While they're not absolutely jump off the page ridiculous in a lot of these statistical areas, they're clearly a very, very solid, very, very versatile team that kind of does a lot of things well across the board. And then you have that star level player in Donovan Mitchell. Now, they, to be fair, do not quite, in my opinion, have the Giannis Antetokounmpo, maybe even Cade Cunningham level of player, although I think Donovan Mitchell's on that Cade Cunningham level realistically. But outside of Giannis, let's look at the East. I don't know if we fully trust Embiid, especially when it comes to health. Jalen Brunson is great, but is he way better than Donovan Mitchell? I'm not certain I would agree with that. Up and down the Eastern Conference, I think there's an argument to be made on any given night, especially with no Jason Tatum, that Donovan Mitchell could easily be the second best player in the East on any given night. I'm not saying he overall is, but I think this team should feel confident. They have the star power, then they have the depth, they have the versatility. The lineup feels more complete and well-rounded than it did last year, despite the fact that they started so incredibly well last year. While they haven't started quite that well this year, I feel like this team is set up longevity-wise to have a really successful year and maybe actually truly thrive in the playoffs for the first time as well under Kenny Atkinson. Because this team last couple of years has shown a lot of promise, and it's not all Atkinson, obviously. Even before Atkinson, it was true. But this team has never quite been able to put the pieces together when it comes playoff time. This year, I think their goal is to change that. My prediction before the season is they would do exactly that and make the finals. And you know what? I'm sticking with it. As of right now, I feel pretty confident saying the Cavs are one of the very best teams in the Eastern Conference and have a serious chance to compete for an NBA Finals this year. Plain and simple. Now, winning the finals is a whole different story. Teams like OKC or Denver are going to be a brutal matchup no matter who makes it through the East. But in terms of the Eastern Conference, I see no reason why the Cavs aren't arguably the best team in this conference and probably the favorites to win a title so far out of the East anyway. So, with that being said, that's going to do it for today's video. I hope y'all did enjoy. If you did, make sure you hit that like button, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll be back with more NBA content very, very soon. I appreciate y'all. Peace.